People want to feel like they're making progress subconsciously. The more you can create the movement is another thing that will hook people. It's one thing to be like, oh, they saved, almost 2% on their interest rate. It's a different thing to say they saved $380,000 over the life of the loan and over $500 a month. That's something that I definitely learned to focus about this time around, is because welcome back to another episode of The Age of Goldmine, the best podcast in the entire universe. Today, Allie and I are chatting about something that I went over during our 5 Pillars Nation community in EXP earlier this week in our business brainstorm that we do. Some of the people in there were asking like, hey, you recently posted a video on your Instagram. Can you share your process for that end state? And the process I found, understanding Allie's process for YouTube and maybe my process for literally whatever, understanding how other people do things to end up with the final result is really helpful, and duplicating it if you do want to duplicate it. With that, there were also several lessons learned that I had on this that I am going to tweak for next time. So I will also be sharing how I will make changes in the future. And so, yeah, today what we are doing is we are going over step by step the process to go from nothing to a hopefully really compelling Instagram post. That's what we're doing. To further elaborate on that, this is one of those, and actually, you guys, when you're nearing the end of a transaction, you're coming up to the end, closing is coming, you're so excited. On your checklist that you're definitely using, you're using your buyer's checklist hypothetically, you have a note that you need to post on social media following closing, right? Okay. You probably follow other agents out there on Instagram and on Facebook, and the most basic thing that you can do that is not exciting, in my opinion, is just use one of those, whether it's on Canva, it's a template that has maybe a picture of the house and it says like just closed. And then the caption says, congrats to my buyers on finding this house. Like, let me know if you want help in real estate. Allie, have you seen those?
Snooze. Yeah.
Yeah. So those, I think they worked like back in, 2017 or 18 when like no one was posting like compelling content really. But now I do agree with Allie. I think they're just snooze. And more than that, though, I feel like it's a missed opportunity to tell a compelling story where other people, buyers who might be considering using your services, can really imagine themselves in the process. The just closed doesn't really allow people to learn and kind of imagine what it would be like if they were those people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think it shows it could show volume. It could show, okay, this person is in business, but it doesn't show what is it like to work with him or her. So yeah.
Right. That's how we want to stand out too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what my process is for doing this, which I always feel like I have to default. Like, it's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying like this is how you to do things. This is how I did it this past time, and I'm always working and learning to improve. Step one that you should do if you haven't already, listeners, is go to my Instagram, The Shelby Show, and click on and watch the video that has the thumbnail of $380,000 saved. It's like a little sign. That's the one that we're going to be talking about today. So if you haven't watched that, watching that might be a good first step. But my process for getting there. So step one, as you're nearing the end of your transaction, is to take a few moments and reflect on the process. Allie calls this process a little bit like brag stats. Think about the process that you went through with your client, and also think about anything cool, unique, exciting that happened for your clients. Like hypothetically, if you got them, seller paid closing costs, or if you got them a purchase price that's under list price, or if you're in a really competitive market, how many other buyers did you beat out? How did you negotiate to really get your client's offer accepted? So you're thinking back, understanding that it's different in every market, about what was great in your transaction. And this transaction was really unique in the sense that my buyers offered on a home that was on the market for over a year. It had already had some price drops, and the sellers were going through like a divorce. So like there was a distressed seller situation. We came in where we had a lot of leverage in this situation, and we offered less than list. We got them $4,000 off list. But the real benefit in this scenario is that we got them the full 4% in seller concessions. This is a VA buyer for full 4%. And the kicker is that the purchase price was almost 900,000. So 4% of 900,000 is $1 million. It's not actually $1 million. It's over $35,000. And so I knew that this was like a wow, moment. This would be a wow story. If people saw that, I'd be like, what? And then to make it more exciting is that they decided to use those seller concessions to buy down their rate. They could have used it in other ways. This is their forever home. So, they're not selling in a couple of years. So having that rate bought down was really important to them. So they were able to get from the very first quote that a lender quoted them was 7.5%. They closed at 5.6 something. And it was pretty cool because we were at the closing table and the title guy was like, damn, this is the lowest interest rate we've seen all year. Like, this is the lowest interest rate we've seen in a long, long time. And so it was like, but anyway, so I thought back and I'm like, okay, that's an easy, cool thing to share, right? And I'm like, okay, how do we share this? And actually, I've been talking a lot. Allie, any questions or comments so far?
No, keep going.
Okay. So we all know that numbers are really helpful when you're telling stories, right? Like people, it's one thing to be like, oh, they saved, almost 2% on their interest rate. It's a different thing to say they saved $380,000 over the life of the loan and over $500 a month. Because that's like people are able to convert that into their own like, wow, if I still saved over $500 a month, that'd be amazing. And actually, even for this, like we didn't even do the math from 7.5 down to what they got. We did it from the number that my lender originally quoted them and then how much they bought it down just because the numbers actually got too crazy. Like it was, people wouldn't believe it. You know what I mean? So we decided to do like a more, that's something too, when you're telling stories, you want to have the wow factor, but you also want it to be believable enough so that people aren't like, that's not true, which it would have been true, but it would have been really hard to believe. So that's why we did that. But anyway, okay. So that step one is you're reflecting, right? You're pulling out the brag stats. And then from there, the next part for me is to brain dump all of that into written form. And so I use a Google Doc. I literally just have a tab on which I will go ahead and share. Okay. Awesome. So what I did is I just went to their buyer's checklist and I started another tab in my Google Doc that you guys all know that I use Google Docs for this, at least at this point in time. And I brain dumped. Okay, so what happened? It was one of our military buyers just closed. It was a forever home. This is how much we saved per month. This is how much they saved over the life of the year, the life of the loan, 30 years. And then it's like, how did they do this? So I literally just went and brain dumped everything that I thought was interesting and cool about this story that I wanted to tell. And then after I had the brain dump, that's what turned into my caption because it's kind of like the longer form of the story that I'm trying to tell. The next part that I did is I took that caption and I was like, how can I cut out as much as possible and still making it like a compelling story? And so that's where I cut out a bunch of different words. I made the hook as short as possible because when you're, Allie, what is it? You have 3 seconds?
Yeah, 3 seconds to capture somebody.
You have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. And so any extra words, like originally when I was like, one of our military buyers just closed on their forever home in Georgetown, Kentucky, and we saved them. No, it's way too much. So literally our buyers saved $500 a month. Like that's the hook that I was trying to use. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm just trying over here. We're seeing what works. But the point is you're taking the big version and you're condensing it as much as possible, realizing that every single word that you say is an opportunity for people to swipe away. And so when you are thinking through your video script, it is so important to not only speak fast, but also eliminate any fluff words and cut out like any big like breaths or, whatever. You're just going to slice that all out, which we'll talk about in editing. But the point is to make it as condensed as possible. So like my first cut, if I would have read it, probably would have been a minute and a half, maybe. And then the second one, the final that I did was like 22 seconds, which was my goal. But also one of my lessons learned is that I did actually talk potentially too fast, which we'll get into, because you want to talk as fast as possible, knowing that like everyone who's on social is actually also a crackhead, because they're just like, swiping, attention grabbing, that whole thing. But you still want to make sure that it is slow enough so that people can understand. And one of my lessons learned, this is just, I guess, a read ahead, is that, yeah, the thing with the speed too is that when I'm watching it, if it's fast for me, which that's what I want it to be fast, I have to realize that the person who's watching this, who's my target audience, is not in my industry. That's something that I definitely learned to focus about this time around, is because I think that people in my industry could understand it. They're like, oh, I'm so with it, but I'm not doing it for other agents. I'm doing it for the buyers who are thinking about buying this year, next year, whatever, or who might share it with their mom or friend who is thinking about buying. So I need to make sure that it is easy to comprehend for my target audience, regardless of who else is following me. So we have the brain dump, we have the script that is super condensed, right? And then after we have the script is when I do my voice recording. So I have the DJI little double mic set with the little fluffy dead squirrel. I think it's what it's called, dead cat, something like that I put on the top. And
I
I
think
just
that's
sit
the
here
name that you have for it. But go on.
Is that not it? Oh my God.
It's like the wind puff. I don't know. I call it a puff. You call it a dead animal.
You call
That's
it a
fine.
wind puff. That's adorable. I'm like, this dead cat. What is wrong with me? I don't even know where I got that from. Whatever.
That's funny.
It's fine. So I sit here on my computer, like you guys can see right now, and I literally read my script. I went through a phase where I was doing like the very first hook part with like talking head, where I was looking at it. But this past video, I just skipped that entirely and did the entire thing voice and put video along with the voice. And I actually, not only was it way more efficient for me to record, because the talking head where I'm like trying to get how I look, how, I want, takes way longer than if I can just sit here and read a script and voice record in my PJs. So that's what I did. I have the DJI whatever, and I sit here and I record. You can do a voice memo, or I just do a video, and I don't show myself. I just video record it. And do it as many times as you have to get like the timing. The thing I would say too with the voice recording is that, like everything in this world of social media and content, whatever you can do to stay interesting and not boring, you need to do. And what I'm bringing this up with the script is, you're not just reading the script. There's inflection. There's the change, the excitement, the ups and the downs that people, when they're listening to it, is just another reason for them to keep listening and watching. Does that make sense?
For sure. For sure. And I think you're going to get into this, but when you're saying the editing, since we're starting to get a little bit into the granular voice note versus whatever, what platform are you using to do the actual edit?
CapCut.
CapCut. Okay.
Big CapCut fan over here.
On your CapCut on your phone or CapCut? Okay. Desktop.
Only on my desktop, on my my Mac. Haircut. I really do that because if those of you who know me, like in the military, it was PC. And so when I made the transition, I was like PC hardcore. Like, there's no way I'd ever do a Mac. That's terrible. And then I finally did it like a year ago, and I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. This is so good.
That's like where we differ, because I'm like, Apple lost me as a client. The only thing I have left is just the iPhone. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, really? Because of the Mac?
Yeah, I used to have a Mac everything. And yeah, no, I'm just the price is just like, anyway, this isn't the point of the podcast.
Off-roading, here we go.
There was another question I had. Oh, CapCut. Do is there a free version? Of course, I'm asking this, and then the paid. I presume you have the paid. Yeah, that for now.
Yes, there is a free version. And yes, I do have the paid because if I want something and it's like the paid version only, I'm the type that's just like, screw it. In the moment, like take my money and whatever.
Okay.
So, guys, be more like Allie. More
And then
frugal.
from there, you're using it to also not just post on Instagram, but others as well, other platforms,
Yes.
social media.
So this was Instagram and Facebook only. There was a period of time, which I'm probably going to pick it back up, where like I was digging into those programs where it'll like automatically feed to all the other platforms. But then I think we've talked about this before, Allie, how it's like tough because there's different platforms have different requirements. And so I was like, screw it. I am going to focus on Facebook and Instagram, my bread and butter, where I already have connections. Like I know that this is proven instead of like hopping on TikTok where I don't know anything about the platform. I'm not a user.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I'm going off railing.
Yeah. Just my own experience with TikTok. Younger, typically, they don't qualify for as much because they are younger and just starting out in their career. So definitely different demographic. If you like Facebook, stick to Facebook. If you like YouTube, stick to YouTube. If you're a user, that's the best way to
Yeah,
start posting.
totally. Okay. Yeah. So now at this point, we have done our voice recording. And then the next step that I do is I go right into CapCut. Oh my goodness.
And to further clarify on the voice recording, are you doing the voice recording as you are watching the video? Like how do you match up the tempo like you mentioned before?
I do the voice recording first, and then I match the footage to my voice.
If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Allie Garcet, or Allie the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.
Oh my God, amazing. Okay, so if you're not watching on YouTube, clearly you're missing out. Head over to YouTube, The Agent Goldmine, and see what's on my screen. But okay, so we have CapCut pulled up. If you haven't seen this before, this is how it looks on your computer. And this up here is my very first import, which was 58 seconds. That was, I think, the original cut. But I also like hit record and then I like pause and like breathe a lot. Anyway, but that's the first thing that I do is I upload the voice recording and then I make it really, really big, which I'm doing right now on the screen if you're watching. I like expand the voice recording down here. And then what I do is I look for big breaks. That's the first thing I do, like big pauses, and then I delete them. And the reason why I do this is because when you are listening, if like I just talked about before, you need to make it like as quick as possible, in my opinion, to keep users interested. So it's really easy for me to just like make it really big because then I can identify really easily where the breaks are and I just cut and slice them down. Questions so far, Allie?
No questions. Oh, well,
Okay.
actually,
And
yes, question.
yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to auto do that on CapCut?
Probably.
Okay.
There probably is. Yeah. And I should look into that. Because what I was going to say is like, and that is the thing. I'm like kind of in a control freak mode right now, which you guys could probably see
Right
based on like,
now?
shut up. So I do think that this will change as I have more reps and I'm more comfortable. But right now I'm like very like hands-on.
Yeah. No, I
So
like that because my second question, my follow-up was going to be how good is it? Because
how can I
an
say,
app
yeah.
called Captions that we've spoken about before has the auto, but it takes out, in my opinion, a little bit too much. So it's
Yeah.
like it gets way like a late start in the next sentence and you kind of miss like the first word of it. So, okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah. So then I slice it all down. And then the next thing that I do is I look at how many seconds are left. And then I look at my script and I hit, play, and I go through my script and try to identify a shot list because I want to be able to be super efficient in the filming portion. And what is it? The Alex Hormozy says all the time where it's a pound of wait, is that right? Is worth an ounce of. Did I screw that up? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Okay, good. Basically, the entire concept, because I'm screwing up the way to say it, is that the more work that you can do up front will save you so much time when you're recording and editing on the back end.
That makes sense. That's said better than Alex Hormozy. Shelby
Oh,
herself.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna DM him and tell him. Um, so at this point, I've gone through my script. I have my voiceover. I know how many seconds there are because there was a time too where my goal was like 1 second per clip to keep people's attention. After this feedback from this last one, I think I'm going to go just over a second per clip. It'll be like in between 1 second and 1.5 seconds per clip just to keep it just a slightly bit longer. But yeah, so then I go through and I have my shot list, which this was my original shot list, which I used ChatGPT for too. I like threw in, the script into ChatGPT and was like, come up with a shot list. And then I was like, organize it based on what I can do at my house before I go to, the listing. So you can definitely use ChatGPT for this. And then what I did is I literally just went outside and I shot all of the scenes that I could from my house, which this time is the first time that I really used a bunch of props and by props, sorry, I mean signs. And I think that honestly that was really helpful. So it was, how can I tell my words in a visual? That's kind of like what you're thinking through ahead of time and what would be like instantly recognizable by someone watching the video, which is how like I came up with like the key in the beginning and then the little signs that highlight how much saved. And then from there, I went on final walkthrough. I tried to time this up, guys, like, because I didn't want to go back to the house twice, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this before final walkthrough. I'm going to have my shot list. I'm going to just show up early before my clients and get all my footage that I need and then do final walkthrough so I don't have to drive there twice. And then afterwards, so I went through, I shot what I could at my house. I shot what I could at the final walkthrough. And then you just come back and you literally like plug it in. You're like, okay, here's each shot. You drag it. So you import it and then you just literally drag it down and you can just cut it, and move it around. CapCut is like really great for that. Yeah, until you get what you want, which again, I wanted 1 second per clip, fast paced. I also, another thing that I do like using is when you inevitably get home and you're starting to edit and you're like, man, I missed that shot. Man, I have nothing for this spot. I thought this was going to look good. It doesn't. In those moments, you can either do more signs, think about how you can tell, visual from home, or I always love a screen recording where, hey, I connected them with my lender. I didn't have anything visual to connect with that part. So what I did is I screen recorded me going to Instagram, typing in his name, clicking on his profile, and it's showing his profile. And then that was, 1 second plug. So you don't always have to go back to the house. I actually never will. I will always find a way to not leave my house instead of going back to get a different shot. So that's just a little nugget to store away as well.
I was actually going to mention that, the part about the lender specifically, because that could have, the lazy way would have been to just do a screenshot of the lender's profile on Instagram, but you had the actual like screen recorded motion of swiping to his profile and have his name on there. I thought that was a good touch.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Like every single portion was a video, there were no stills. So that's what kept it moving. And I think, in my opinion, because it was faster paced, it causes you to watch it a second time and even a third time.
I did get feedback from that. They're like, I had to watch it twice. I think like, hey, I think it was great. I did have to watch it twice. And I was like, perfect.
That's what you want. Yeah. Good. Mission accomplished.
I'm fine with that. Great. Okay. So at this point we have gone back and we've edited the video. And now you can export it right from CapCut. Any other questions on editing before we move on?
Um, so you use ChatGPT to get the script, or either way, you do the script first, and then you do the voice, and then you have the shot list. When you say 1.5 seconds, I'd have to watch it again, but I don't want to like have the noise on. Is each part of the 1.5 seconds its own segment, or are you having like is your voice covering maybe like 3 seconds as you're talking about the lender, and then the, different mismatch? Is it more of mismatch or everything right 1.5 seconds?
No. It's definitely mismatched to match the timing of what I'm saying.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. So, and that's a great point, Allie, is that when you are editing, you are listening at the same time that you're adding the clips, because when there's like a change, like next was one of the things, like next is what we did. Like you damn right, the video better be like next, and changing the scene along with the words to match up whenever possible. The other thing that this made me think of is whenever possible, try to do movement shots. So, like, next, I had a shot of like driving down the road because people want to feel like they're making progress subconsciously. And so that's why if you guys see a bunch of like viral videos, like there's someone, sometimes they're like power walking in the beginning, like moving forward. Or in this video, I did also shots of like my feet like walking towards and then like pulling open the door. So when you're thinking about this, the more you can create the movement is another thing that will hook people.
Okay, definitely makes sense. And then when you export it, is there a specific like quality that you're exporting it at?
4K
Okay, cool.
export. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. And from there you can add, you can adjust your, what is it called? Cover right from here if you want. Like you in CapCut, you can edit and then you can add text to the cover. And then when you hit save, it will save onto the video and then it will export that way. I decided to use the cover from the video where I had the sign hold up that said 380,000 save. So that way I didn't do any words. It was just like the sign was my cover, thumbnail, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense?
That does. Yes.
Okay. So at this point, you have the video, you have your caption already. Yay, it's time to go and post. So you are thinking about who can I possibly collaborate with this that will accept the collaboration, because you want to hack anyone else's page, followers, influence that you possibly can. I knew that I gave a shout out for my lender. That was a given. He was going to accept the collaboration. So added him on there. And I also thought about I didn't add these, but like you could, if your title company did a great job and you gave them a shout out, like give your title company or attorney, or like maybe you're telling a story about how you negotiated so much repairs and you wanted to shout out your inspector who has a great page. Or maybe the video, you used your videographer to make the video and they have X amount of followers. Like these are just all ideas of who can you hack. Hack. That's really the name of the game. Yeah. And so from there, then posted it. Let me think what else. Okay. Now you have something, Allie?
Music. Did you add music in the back? And where do you do that?
That I did not do. And it was something that I should have. Okay. And the thing for this is like with music, it should not be distracting. Like you want people not to even notice it.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
is my opinion. And so, but if you're going to do that to like hack this, it would be like go to trending audio, find trending audio, and you could leave it so that way it's like really, really distant so you can hear it if you like the music. But if you don't, you can just turn the music all the way down to 1 and then post it. So that way no one's hearing the music, but you're also using a trending audio, which I don't know if that's going to work, but like apparently that works for the algorithm to push yours more X, Y, and Z. Have you heard that?
Yeah, and with the post of mine that went viral that got almost 2 million views now, it was with trending music, and I literally didn't even click a button. I mean, I clicked the music button and I just used whatever was already out there, because I didn't care. I didn't even know what the music was.
Yeah.
So yeah, does it work? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Okay, cool. I agree.
It's worth the extra click to do, which I did not do. That's another, lesson learned for next time. I need to do that. Trying to think. Always put, location.
Mm.
I don't know about hashtags lately. Like I don't really care about them, but maybe what the latest I've heard is used to like 3 to 5 relevant hashtags. Is that the latest you've heard?
Yeah, like the fewer the better, like
Yeah.
no more than 3 because now they're just have way more of an emphasis on the actual story that you're telling. They're pulling keywords out of that. So with yours, military buyer just closed, Georgetown, Kentucky. So it's like very much so pushing you in front of other people that are also looking up Georgetown, Kentucky, military
Perfect.
VA loan.
Perfect. That was the goal. Oh my God. Okay. So then you're going to post it. And then I also, if you get a referral, I always like to shout out the referral agent too. The more you can like hype other people, the more they're going to love you, that person, and send you more referrals. But also, I don't know. I just think hyping other people makes people look good. Like the person hyping it makes, I don't know. But okay. So from this point, what I did in the next 24, at this point we're done. The next thing that I did though is because it was so fast, and I like it that fast, but I am apparently a crackhead. But Drake, my husband, you guys know him, was like, "Hey, that was too fast." And I was like, "Okay, I agree, but also let's do a poll." And so 24 hours later, I waited until people had seen it. I shared a poll on my story being like, "Hey, was this way too fast? Was this a little too fast? Or was this just right?" And for reference, guys, if you go to my page and watch the video, the results of that poll were 50% said that it was just a little too fast, 40% said it was just right at crackhead level speed, and 10% said it was way too fast. And of the 10%, they were older people, and not in our industry. So those two things combined, they were like, what is happening? And that's just, I wanted to make that point because if you're watching your videos and it's slow and you're losing attention, they're swiping. They're going to the next story. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what my follow-up question was going to be to that was out of those that thought it was too fast or just right, if they are other agents, not your target, like are they clients? Are the potential clients following along? Because if the potential clients think it's too fast, then that's your answer. But if the potential clients that you want to work with, that's your avatar, maybe not those that are older, or whatever. No discrimination.
No discrimination.
No discrimination. If your target audience is saying it's okay, then continue.
Yeah. And for the just right and the little too fast, the 90% of people fell in those categories. It was just a mixed bag of people out of the industry and into the industry. It wasn't like a clear cut. So I just thought that was really really interesting information. And that is that. And all in all, guys, like this doesn't have to be, if you sit down and you do this all at once, it's going to feel like a lot. But like if you start thinking as you go, like Allie does as brag stats as you go, and build them throughout the process, you're already going to have your highlights to choose from. And then from there, every rep, you just try to get a little better at storytelling. Storytelling's hard. It's really hard. It's like an art and a science. And but you're not going to get better unless you do reps. So you have to suck in order to get good. Yeah. And then having the plan up front will make it way easier when you're recording and editing. And that's all I got, Allie. That's it.
I love it. I'm excited. Wait, I had one more question. Oh my gosh. Oh, time. What was the total time that it took you?
That's a great question. I did not track
Yeah.
total time. It really wasn't. Well, I guess I would say it was probably like 4 hours if I had to say total time.
And then over time, it'll get faster because you'll kind of know, like, overall, it's going to be the same template. This is the story that I want to tell, different numbers. I already have my voice message. I know kind of the tempo I want to put it at. So 4 hours to start out. Yeah, that's great.
It will definitely get better. But the other thing that you have to think about, and like this, can't even say, I don't think my Instagram is good yet. Like, it's going to be great. I'm going to blow up, guys. You heard it. I'm going to be famous. It's fine. But the thing to think about is it takes you 4 hours. But then if you go over to the analytics, which I thought I would be able to see on my desktop and I can't. But if you go to the analytics, you can see watch time I would say it's so much more. It's not so much more, but the total watch time on this video that was 22 seconds is 5 hours, 14 minutes, and 43 seconds. And so if you convert that into the reach that you would have to do with these people, if you talk to each one of them individually, it's just the power of content, the power of social media, and your efforts are worth it in this regard.
100%. I love it. This was a really, really good tactical episode. If you guys enjoyed this, give Shelby a follow. She's going to be putting out a lot more content. Shelby, oh my God, why do I always mess
every
up
time?
Your,
It's like we just met. It's not like we've known each other for a million years now.
This is like when I forgot my wife's birthday. I'm like, fuck.
Classic Allie. It's the Shelby Show on Instagram, or Allie, the agent, ALI_the_agent.
She has it down perfectly. She has it down perfectly. So yeah, give us a follow. And if this helps you, we would love a review, 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to this on. Follow us on YouTube, because chances are that's probably how you watch this episode, especially if you're following along to learn CapCut. This is definitely what I'm going to be using, because I don't yet use CapCut. If you know of a struggling realtor that's trying to increase their social media presence, be a bro and share this show.
If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Allie Garced, or Allie the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.